Ho, ho, ho. Welcome everybody. I'm Jonathan Pulley here with West Coast Weather. Today is December 21st, and we're going to talk about multiple frontal systems that are going to start moving Pacific Northwest as this deep trough of low pressure that we can see here on the European model. It's going to be swinging multiple systems through the weekend and bringing a couple stronger systems around Christmas Eve into around the Christmas time period as well. You can see I'm kind of festive with my Santa hat on right now. So let's get right into things. This is looking at the European model from last night. This morning's one has not started running yet, so we'll have to look at yesterday evening's data. You can see this trough kind of spins a lobe through later today, bringing a frontal system and some rain and some breezy winds to parts of the Pacific Northwest today, Saturday, the 21st. Then this other bomb cyclone over the Gulf of Alaska brings another frontal system in as it weakens very quickly off towards Haida. It brings another little frontal system in on Sunday into a very early Monday, but that quickly moves off in the northern British Columbia. And then look at this. This is a very close, this storm's a bit closer. This is another likely bomb cyclone that's a bomb off right off the Vancouver Island coastline and glide north just off the north tip of Vancouver Island. This is taking a similar track to our big bomb cyclone back in November, but this one should be weaker and a smaller storm, so it shouldn't have the same effects as the last one. However, there's likely to be some strong east winds over the Cascades, but likely not anything crazy like that last time. And that's going to be having Monday evening and the Christmas Eve morning, so there might be some blustery winds in the morning, but most of this should be overnight, Monday night into Tuesday morning. And then you can see there's likely to be some precipitation around on Christmas Eve before another trough and the potential for another decent storm system bring a stronger frontal system into the area later on Christmas Day. So we're likely to have a drippy and potentially blustery Christmas Day for a lot of the Pacific Northwest. Now let's take a closer look at things. Here's Washington, Oregon, California, and British Columbia. Here's looking at the 6-hour precipitation type in inches and sea level pressure in millibars. You can see our frontal system today as a little low pressure system kind of gets elongated off the parent low and kind of flings a little front through the area today, brings some widespread precipitation, some light snow to some of the mountains, even brings some rain all the way down to the San Francisco Bay Area before changing the showers this afternoon. And then that dies off before another frontal system starts moving into the coastline just before noon on Sunday, bringing some more rain and some more gusty winds, especially to the northwest interior like Whidbey Island, the San Juans, and in parts of the Washington and Oregon coastlines, which are pretty typical this time of the year. More light snow, also some more light to moderate rain for the lowlands, also bringing some rain all the way down to San Francisco as well. So anywhere from San Francisco all the way up to Vancouver, BC, we'll be getting precipitation with these fronts. Then it decreases the showers by late Sunday night before mostly drying up by Monday morning. Here comes our bomb cyclone rapidly intensifying into a 957 millibar low, a very deep low right off the coast. But you can see the pressure gradient, the really tight pressure gradient where the strongest winds are going to be, where those isobars are really close together, are going to remain offshore. And you kind of see, but you can see the Cascades. Look how close these isobars right over the Cascades. This will cause winds to get pulled out of the east and right over the Cascades and bring some downsloping winds to parts of the eastern Puget Sound lowlands as we go into late Monday night and the early Tuesday morning. Then that cyclone brings the cold front through snow in the Cascades, potentially brings some impactful weather to some of the mountain passes, also bringing the frontal system all the way down to central California as well before the low kind of weakens and starts dying off the northwest Vancouver coastline, likely some blustery winds continuing in the Christmas Eve morning, and mainly just some showers as we go through most of Christmas Eve. So Christmas Eve itself should not be that bad of weather other than a few showers and maybe some light breezy winds. Then here comes more of probably an atmospheric river type feature with a much stronger cold front. Look how the pressure gradient's a lot tighter, a lot closer to the coastline as more low pressure systems move to our north. And this will bring lots of precipitation and rain. This is about 10 a.m. on Christmas morning. You can see precipitation just starting to move in before you can see most of the precipitation starts moving in around the evening and nighttime hours on Christmas, bring some pretty heavy snow to parts of the mountains and likely some snow to the passes as well, depending on how high the snow levels get to. And then it will likely start to calm down overnight, but we're still going to have some rain and showers continuing all the way into Thursday as well, with breezy winds continuing as this pressure gradient kind of remains over a lot of the region, and then the potential for another system after that as we go towards next weekend. Now looking at directly on the Pacific Northwest, is Washington, Oregon, Western Idaho, Northern California down here, Vancouver Island, Vancouver, BC up here. This is looking at the NAM3 cam and surface wind gusts and miles per hour. You can see today, the frontal system today will bring some gusty ones up with some gusts up towards 40, maybe up to 45 miles per hour for parts of Whidbey Island, up towards Bellingham and the San Juans, also parts of the Washington coast as well, and some of the mountains before that calms down today. And then as we go into Sunday, the 22nd, breezy winds start picking up again. This front's going to be a little bit stronger than yesterday's, with some gusts even towards hurricane force off the Oregon coastline. They typically get these during fronts as the winds kind of accelerate along the coastline, and even just regular fronts can get some very strong winds. That's why if you ever want to go for wind watching, you want to go down the Cape Blanco in southwest Oregon, because that little cape that juts out of the land gets those really strong winds that rush up the coastline. And then, so you can see now looking at about noon on Sunday, you can see the winds really starting to pick up, potentially even gusting towards 50 miles per hour for Victoria and for some of the San Juans as well, and mostly along the Washington, Oregon coastlines as well. And some of the mountain gaps will also be getting some gusty east winds, not like what's going to happen Monday night, which will be a bit stronger, but you can see pretty gusty winds remain all the way through about midnight on Monday, I should say. Now looking at surface wind gusts on the HRRR model, just to get a perspective on how the models are agreeing. You can see today, generally gusts up towards 40, maybe 45 miles per hour for the northwest interior of Washington and parts of the coastline, with those rain showers continuing later this evening. Then we can see the next frontal system coming in, maybe weaker winds than the NAM. But look at, there's stronger winds for the northwest interior on the HRRR. The HRRR is showing some gusts approaching 58 miles per hour for some of the San Juans, and 55 for just off of Victoria. So definitely could get some isolated power. They're pretty used to that up there, so I wouldn't really expect much issues. But if we go back, and it really starts ramping up about noon on Sunday, and you see some of these gusty winds will also approach Whidbey Island, Bellingham, with some gusts up towards 45, maybe I guess the 50 miles per hour over there as well, with gusty winds on the coastline, with showers continuing into Sunday night. Now looking at the composite reflectivity in the NAM North American model, this is basically showing what it thinks the radar is going to look like. You can see precipitation already starting to spread over a lot of the area before kicking out later this evening, maybe some isolated showers, mainly in the mountains and along the coastlines. As we go through Sunday, the warm front moves through, and then the cold front comes through with the moderate rain starting in the morning and lasting all the way through the evening, with mainly some showers. But some of these showers could be particularly heavy. There could be some isolated and moderate to heavy rain patches mixed in later Sunday afternoon and the Sunday evening with some of those showers, before you can see the bomb cyclones starting to bring precipitation up in the Oregon at the end of that model. That model only goes out 60 hours. Now looking at wind gusts, let me go out past what the NAM was showing. Now I can show you what the European model is showing for this bomb cyclone. You can see the cold front rushing up the coast, but look at these gusts. You can see the strongest hurricane force gusts near the center of the low pressure system will be well off the coastline. But look at this. Look at these gusts over this model's lower resolution, so it has a hard time seeing these gusts go towards the Puget Sound. But anytime when you have the European model showing some easterly winds gusting up towards 60 to 70 miles per hour for the central Cascades, you start wondering about some gusts up towards 40 to 60 miles per hour approaching places like Enumclaw and Snohomish. I mean, not Snohomish, Skycomish, the eastern Puget Sound lowlands over here. So we're gonna have to watch for that, and the high resolution models are unfortunately not reaching that time frame. But some of these gusts could be approaching SeaTac as well. So some gusts 40 to 60 miles per hour for the eastern Puget Sound lowlands are probably a good bet for Monday night and the Sunday morning. They definitely could cause some power outages and stuff right before Christmas Eve, unfortunately. But this area's already got a really big blow last month in November with the other bomb cyclone. So the damage, even if the winds were the same speed as that one, likely wouldn't be as bad because the trees have already taken a big blow and they're a little bit more resilient now, but shouldn't be anything close to that bomb cyclone last month. Now looking at total precipitation all the way through the day after Christmas, you can see lots of rainfall as we get multiple fronts and even an atmospheric river later next week. You can see some precipitation totals approaching almost 10 to 12 inches, almost a foot of rain for the Vancouver Island and Olympic Mountain areas. Definitely some flooding concerns on some of the area rivers, and there has been some near record flooding on the Cyclones River down just north of Olympia actually a few days ago. So this rain won't help that situation. You can see the Cascades generally up probably about 3 to 6 inches of rain for a lot of the Cascades, especially the higher peaks. You can see a lot of the lowlands getting a couple inches of rain, especially Seattle and the Portland area. You can see the rain shadow over Whidbey Island, the San Juan, so generally around an inch to an inch and a half of rainfall for those areas up there. Now looking at total snow, you can see lots of snow for the Cascades over this next week. A lot of it's going to be in the higher peaks, but there's definitely going to be some snow at the passes as well. So please look at the conditions on the roads if going over the passes over the next week or so. You can see the max showing up in this this model right now is 124 inches, so about 10 feet of snow. That's likely on Mount Rainier or Mount Baker, one of the higher mountain peaks where they stay below freezing all the time this time of the year. Now looking at total precipitation over California over the next week or so, you can see total precipitation likely getting over 6 to 9 inches of rainfall potentially for this northern Sierra Nevada and some of the coastal ranges of northwestern California, where they'll be getting a lot more precipitation from the fronts in the atmospheric river as well. You can see the Bay Area even approaching 1 to 2 inches depending on your elevation down there. Generally lighter rain for the rest of California, where there's a drought conditions over parts of Southern California. Hopefully they can start getting some rain here soon, and hopefully the storms start going farther south and hitting you guys as well. Now, total snow over the next week or so, you can see also good few feet of snow potentially for the Sierra Nevada, also Mount Shasta definitely getting over probably about 4 or 5 feet of snow potentially. So definitely some beneficial snow for the Sierra Nevada up there. Here's a graphic for the National Weather Service of Seattle showing the gusty winds this weekend with some gusts 40 to 45 miles per hour, potentially even up to 50 miles per hour along the coastlines. Also gusts to 30 to 40 miles per hour for like Whidbey Island and parts of the San Juans as well. Generally, they tend to favor lower wind speeds, but I bet there could be some gusts 45, 50 miles per hour even for the San Juans and Whidbey Island area. Here's a graphic from the National Weather Service Spokane with the weather over the next couple of days. Widespread light rain, cloudy and mild today for eastern Washington and western Idaho. Sunday PM light rain on Sunday with light snow in the Cascades, cloudy and mild. Monday morning light rain, extreme eastern Washington, northern Idaho. Light snow in the Cascades and the Panhandle Mountains and mostly cloudy. Now here's a graphic from the National Weather Service of Medford, Oregon, showing some of their weather down there. Not very much impactful of weather other than some gusty winds and some of the higher elevations of the mountains and along the coastlines. Some snow levels of 6,000 feet or above will limit snowfall at the highest mountain peaks. And the Sunday, more widespread rainfall Sunday afternoon and evening ahead of another cold front rainfall amounts highest over same areas as Saturday. And those same areas are for Curry and southern Josephine counties and western Siskiyou County, if I'm saying that right, and the Mount Shasta region. Now, here's a storm timeline for the National Weather Service of Sacramento, California, showing that minor impacts the next couple of days with some light to moderate rain and snow levels generally above past levels. But look at this, Monday PM and the Tuesday, Christmas Eve, third storm weather system with moderate to heavy rain lower elevations. Snow levels 5 to 6,000 feet with moderate some potential travel impacts across the passes. Breezy to gusty southerly winds and isolated thunderstorms even potentially. And now looking at there's going to be some high surf potentially for some of the Bay Area through tomorrow afternoon. So a large westerly swell with breaking waves 15 to 18 feet, including breakers near 20 feet possible along favored west-facing beaches. So just be careful of out on the beaches over the next couple of days down there. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook for the climate prediction center. This is for the day after Christmas in the December 30th. You can see almost the entire U.S. above averages. We get a lot of warm Pacific air moving into the region with a ridge of high pressure over parts of the United States as well. So generally not a very wintry time of year, even though you would think it would be. The 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, look at the bullseye of green right over the western U.S. and the Pacific Northwest with plenty of rain expected, continuing all the way through the end of December. The 14-day temperature outlook, this is December 28th and the January 3rd. Now talking about January, you can see above average temperatures continuing to be favored, but you can see it's kind of lighter colors over the Pacific Northwest. There's a lower chance of it being above average temperatures, but generally still favored the B. 8 to 14-day precipitation outlook, potential for likely for more storm systems, more precipitation, more marine air flooding the U.S. So definitely going to continue that. Keep an eye on those systems, and there's definitely some windstorm potential in the next 10 days or so. So I'll keep an eye on that for everybody. I hope everybody's having a great day, a great weekend so far. I hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas and has a wonderful time opening those gifts, spending time with family and friends, and enjoying all those holiday festivities. So thank you everybody who comes and routinely watches these videos. I'm getting close to getting monetized on here, and that's going to be probably a late Christmas gift, but thank you guys again. I really enjoy doing these forecasts and being able to help you guys plan your weeks out for what the potential weather impacts. So ho ho ho, talk to everybody later.